Well, starting today, the Delhi government launches one of its biggest campaigns to combat air pollution by cracking down on old vehicles on the roads. Diesel vehicles older than 10 years and petrol vehicles older than 15 years will no longer be allowed to refuel. How will this affect you? More on this report. If you live in Delhi and have a petrol car older than 15 years, you won't get fuel from today onwards. Well, if you have a diesel car older than 10 years, you might as well discard it. No fuel for you too. This ban targets all end-of-life vehicles, diesel vehicles older than 10 and petrol vehicles older than 15 years, which not just includes private vehicles but trucks, government vehicles and even ambulances. This is a directive from the Commission for Air Quality Management, or CAQM, the central agency tasked with monitoring air pollution in Delhi NCR. It follows a 2018 Supreme Court ruling that banned the use of such vehicles in Delhi city.
This direction is actually going to really accelerate the work around that. And this is coupled with the system that has been put in place by the Delhi government at all the fuel stations, which will allow the identification of end-of-life vehicles and the consequent impoundment and scrapping of those vehicles. That will help us to overall clean the air in Delhi and get rid of the end-of-life vehicle.
The impact is massive. Over 6.2 million vehicles in Delhi are now under scrutiny. 4.1 million of them are two-wheelers. And here's how your vehicle will be caught breaking the rule.
This notice that is there and the order comes from the CAQM looking at air quality and pollution that has been caused in the Delhi and the national capital. Of course, right now this law is only implemented in Delhi and will be expanded to the NCR regions later, but very crucial for those who are still keeping these old vehicles, because once they come here and are detected at petrol pumps, they will be directly sent in for scrapping. And the traffic police as well has been told to maintain vigilance at a lot of petrol stations to ensure strict implementation of this particular order.
The legal action includes challan or fine, vehicle impounding and permanent disposal of the vehicle. At petrol stations, pleas were being heard made to extend the 15 years rule to 20 years.
बहुत कम टाइम है ये, कम से कम 20 साल का होना चाहिए पेट्रोल का, सीएनजी और पेट्रोल का, और उसका 15 का होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आदमी अपने पूरी कमाई इसमें लगा देता है. इतने बड़े आदमी तो है नहीं हम, मुश्किल से ये गाड़ी मैनेज किया है, इसको फिर कबाड़े में कैसे देंगे हम.
Some have welcomed the move as they believe it will help reduce pollution and traffic in Delhi.
अच्छा डिसीजन है, क्योंकि इससे इतना लोड है ट्रैफिक का. यही कुछ स्टेप्स होंगे जिसमें ये कुछ रिड्यूस आएगा, अदरवाइज तो लोग मानते गए. भाई ये प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ है, तो हर आदमी ये सोचता है कि चलाते रहो.
One of the vehicles impounded was a 15-year-old petrol guzzling Mercedes-Benz from Ashram petrol station in South Delhi. The vehicle ostensibly in a good condition. Experts weigh in on why looks actually can be deceiving.
There is a misconception about well maintenance also. Well maintenance is like you are trying to keep the vehicle with respect to its design and the way it functions well, right? But the vehicle is made in, say, year 2005. It is meeting an older emission norm, and you cannot change the vehicle to meet the BS6 emission norm. Even if you maintain it with the highest quality system.
Will this have a real impact on reduction in pollution? The refueling ban will not stop in Delhi. From the 1st of November, the restrictions will likely be extended to 5 National Capital Region districts, which is Gurugram, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Noida, which is Gautam Budh Nagar, and Sonipat, areas with high vehicle density. Will this ban deliver cleaner air, or is enforcement going to be a real challenge? With inputs from Milind Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, remember that this was in fact because the Supreme Court of India was forced to intervene in the year 2018 and instruct that such a rule has to be passed, because vehicular pollution, like in Delhi, in many other cities in the country, is actually the #1 reason for air pollution. And heavy vehicle pollution in Delhi is what is adding to our woes year after year, specifically in the winter months, as we have seen. But let's tell you a little about how this is going to be affecting you. These are the numbers that will matter. If you have a vehicle of 15 years of age, end of life definition is for petrol vehicles. Anything more than 15 years of age will in fact not be allowed. And how will it be affecting you, the citizen? Loss of personal mobility. That's going to be a bit of a problem there, because you now know that you will not be able to use your car because you're not going to be getting fuel. Surge in dependence on public transport then, which is good if the public transport system is robust, or else it's going to be leaving you stranded. Severe impact on lower income groups. Push toward electric and cleaner vehicles like CNG, for example, and electric vehicles. That will happen because what is impacted right here is diesel cars and petrol cars, but not the other kind of vehicles. Piyush Mishra joining us from the national capital for more on that. Piyush, enough and more has been said on this already. Announcements from the government side as well. The very fact that your vehicles will be rendered useless if you're not going to be getting fuel, but still we've seen fair amount of chaos on the streets of Delhi, with people now hoping that they're given, an extension of 5 more years, for example. But that clearly isn't happening, isn't it, Piyush?
Well, absolutely, Sneha. And now in national capital, we are now seeing as to how people are much aware about this development, and that is why since morning only a few cases have been reported from other parts, different parts of Delhi, where the vehicle which is older than 15 years has arrived at a petrol pump and has attempted to refuel. I am present at one of the important junction at the heart of Delhi national capital, at Connaught Place at Janpath Road, and here at a petrol pump the arrangements have been made by the authorities, and you can see as to how. First, I would ask my video journalist to show you the notice which has been pasted here. You can clearly see which the notice reads: fuel will not be dispensed to end of live vehicles, that is 15 years old petrol and 10 years old diesel, with effect from 1st July 2025. So if you have your petrol vehicle which is 15 years old, then you will not get diesel, and if you have a diesel vehicle which is more than 10 years, then again you will not get fuel. That's what the notice clearly mentions. Also, at the same time, the authorities have taken one more step. They have, ensured that any vehicle which comes here at petrol pump is either impounded or actions are taken against the owner. And how is it happening? Whenever the vehicle comes here, and if this vehicle does not suit the criteria, then this CCTV camera alerts the authorities. You can see as to how CCTV camera has been installed here. And the moment CCTV camera tells you that one particular vehicle is older than 15 years, then this speaker buzzes, and this speaker alerts the authorities. Those are already present here. We have seen people from MCD, from Delhi Traffic Police, who are deployed here, who ensures that no problem is being faced by the petrol pump officials to take actions against other people. Also, we have one person here. Let me try to understand from him as to how does this work. अभी सीसीटीवी कैमरा यहाँ पे लगाए, कैसे काम करता है, और क्या सुबह से कोई ऐसा केस है जिसमें 15 साल से पुरानी कोई गाड़ी यहाँ पर आई?
नहीं सर, अभी तक तो कोई केस नहीं आया, बट जो 15 साल से पुरानी गाड़ियाँ हैं उनके लिए कैमरा लगा हुआ है सर। ये अच्छा, जो 15 साल जो उनको ये अलर्ट कर देगा, स्पीकर लगा हुआ है वहाँ पे, आवाज वहाँ से पहले जाएगी, वहाँ से अलर्ट आएगा कि इस गाड़ी को पेट्रोल डीजल नहीं देना, न इसे पॉल्यूशन करना। जी सर। तो यहाँ पर ये कैमरा कैसे काम करता है? पूरा अलर्ट करता है आपको, पूरा डिटेल्स? हाँ जी, पूरा अलर्ट करता है। स्पीकर लगा हुआ है इसके साइड में ही, वो वहाँ से आवाज आती है, वो अलर्ट करता है हमको। तो क्या है कि 15 साल से पुरानी कोई भी गाड़ी है तो उसको क्या पेट्रोल नहीं देना है, और क्या क्या करना है? पेट्रोल नहीं देना, डीजल नहीं देना, उसका नाम पीयूसी करना। अच्छा जी सर। और क्या अथॉरिटीज जो है ट्रैफिक पुलिस, उनको इन्फॉर्म करने के लिए भी है।
That's what the government is doing, Sneha, and this is certainly going to cost people, because we were also telling to our viewers as to how low-income group people are going to face a lot of problems, and around 350 petrol pumps in Delhi are there where such cameras have been installed. Such speakers have been installed to alert the authorities, and the Delhi government is ensuring that no vehicle which is older than 15 years is given fuel, or the other formalities are also not being followed whenever these vehicles come here.
It's right, Piyush. It's interesting that, all these cameras are getting installed there at the station. It remains to be seen how the compliance is at the end of the day, because that's what really matters. Be with us, Piyush. In fact, Anmol Bali is also with us, joining us from the national capital. I'll just come to you, Anmol, in a moment from now, just to tell our viewers a little about the numbers that really matter. 15 plus end of life definition for petrol vehicles. Once they're 15 years old, you can't be using them. 10 plus is the end of life definition for diesel vehicles, no matter what condition that they are in. And this is one argument. 350 fuel stations manually monitoring this. 498 fuel stations have been monitored by ANPR cameras. 10,000 fine on EOL, or end of life four-wheelers, if you found violating this rule, this ban. 5,000 fine on end of life two-wheelers. So it impacts all kind of vehicles, remember. Anmol is with us as well. Anmol, this impacts, in fact, just everyone using these vehicles. This includes government vehicles, Anmol. It also, in fact, includes vehicles that are being used for essential services, like ambulances. So there's going to be a huge, huge impact on the people living in Delhi, isn't it?
Sneha, there are around more than 60 lakh old vehicles on the roads of national capital which government want to eradicate from the road, because these vehicles emit tons carbon into the environment of the national capital, which brings the air quality to the deteriorating rate. Currently, I am here at a petrol pump near the Gold Market, where I'll show you how this new action is working. They have pasted the posters at every petrol pump, around 350 petrol pumps in the national capital, where they have clearly mentioned, both in Hindi and English, that fuel will not be dispensed to end-of-life vehicles, 15 years old petrol and 10-year-old diesel vehicles from 1st July 2025. Even they have installed around thousands of cameras at the petrol pumps. I'll show you one of the ANPR camera, means automatic number plate recognition camera, which automatically recognizes the number plate and sends the information to the database, which clarifies that is that vehicle 15 years old, 10 years old, or is that a new vehicle. And even Delhi police has also deployed one traffic police personnel at every petrol pump. I'll show you behind me, who's helping to recognize the old vehicles, and when this alarm will sound, which will tell the petrol pump owners and Delhi police traffic personnel that this vehicle is more than 10 year or 15 year old, then the vehicle will be impounded and then it will be sent for the scrapping. So from this way, the Delhi government is tackling with the deteriorating air pollution in the national capital. We will see the roots behind this action, that is a 2014 NGT order and 2018 Supreme Court order, where they have asked old vehicles to not be parked in the national capital. These vehicles should be eradicated from the road. And now finally, we have seen in the month of June, SOPs were issued for this action, and on 1st July they have started working on it.
Anmol, be with us. Anmol Piyush is coming back to you in a moment from now to tell our viewers and giving them an overview of how pollution, which is a problem in not just in India, but many other countries outside of India as well. How are mega cities really handling vehicular pollution? This is the moot question here. What about London? Ultra low emission zones to charge passenger cars. In Shanghai, high polluting vehicles are banned from inner ring roads, essentially the congested areas where people are. That's where the high pollution cars are banned from. In New York City, congestion pricing launched in Manhattan. In Paris, for example, all diesel vehicles are going to be banned by 2025, which is this year. Beijing, license plate lottery to limit fossil fuel cars. Essentially, different things that different cities all over the world are doing to deal with vehicular pollution. All right, moving on, let's get you up to speed with a set of major financial regulations that kick across India. Railway fares from today onwards are set to go up slightly across classes, and new Aadhaar-based rules will be applying for Tatkal ticket bookings. ATM withdrawals are also getting costlier, especially if you exceed your bank's free limit. PAN Aadhaar linking is now mandatory for new applications. An ITR filing deadline has been extended to the 15th of September. Credit card users have to watch out as well for revised charges on utility and wallet spends. I'm going to go across to Piyush for more details on that story. Piyush, of all the hikes that we just mentioned, what really hits us the hardest is the fact that railway fares across the board will be increasing. Tatkal booking rules have been revised as well. Just take us through the details how this could now eventually impact the Aam Aadmi.
Well, yes, yeah, we spoke to Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, and he also told us that around 900 crore is the amount which Railways is going to earn after this hike in railway fare, and it's a minimal, a very small amount which has been increased, and according to the fare which has been hiked, if you are traveling around 1,000 kilometers from an AC coach, then you will have to pay only 20 rupees, and if you are traveling from non-AC coach, then you will have to pay only 10 rupees extra. That's what the new rule says. And the last hike which took place was happened in 2020, and the Railways is now saying that only a minimal hike has been done, and this has been done to improve more better infrastructure, to provide more better facilities to the people, and also to ensure the smooth operations of railways. So this is not going to affect more to the common man. And remember that this decision was the railways had to take this decision last year itself, but due to some reasons it got delayed, and now finally it has been taken, and from today onwards the hike in railway fare will be, in fact it has already been implemented. At the same time, Aadhaar authentication has also been done for booking Tatkal tickets, or for booking the normal tickets also you need to have Aadhaar authentication, and this has been done to ensure that the genuine passengers get their due, they are able to book the railway tickets, and the fraudsters are addressed. The concerns those who are there among the people, all these concerns can be addressed if Aadhaar authentication is done. So there are similar various steps which the railway is saying. At the same time, railway feels that the hike which has been implemented is a very minimal hike, and it has been done to ensure that better facilities, better infrastructure, railway infrastructure is provided to the people, because a lot of people across the country use railway as a means of mode of transport for traveling to various parts of the country.
Right, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. This is in fact going to create some amount of problems as far as increase in fares there is concerned, Piyush. These are the new financial rules that essentially kick in. Let's tell you about the railway fares. Hike essentially on long distance trains is what one can expect. Aadhaar is going to be mandatory for Tatkal ticket bookings. Agents blocked in first 30 minutes of the Tatkal window. Reservation charts prepared 8 hours before the departure. No fare hike for short distance, suburban trains and monthly season tickets. That's a difference there. And we have some news just coming in. The Chief Minister has spoken out on the surge in heart attacks that has been seen in Hassan district. He says, and I quote him, in the past 1 month alone, in one district of Hassan, more than 20 people have died due to heart attacks. The government is taking this matter very seriously to identify the exact cause of the series of deaths and to find solutions. A committee of experts has been formed under the leadership of Dr. Ravindranath, Director of Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, and they have been instructed to submit a study report within 10 days. In this regard, the process of examining and analyzing heart patients is also underway. We value the lives of children, youth and innocent people who have their entire lives ahead of them, and we share the concerns of their families. I condemn the actions of BJP leaders using such matters for their political gains. It cannot be denied that the hasty approval and distribution of the COVID vaccine to the public could also be a reason for these deaths. Several studies worldwide have recently indicated that COVID vaccines could be the cause for the increasing number of heart attacks. This is what the Chief Minister has said. He's also gone on to say, and I quote him again here, before BJP criticize us on this matter, they should ask their conscience. We are fully committed, he says, to finding the true cause behind these deaths happening in Hassan district and across the state and to preventing them. With this goal, we've already implemented schemes like Hriday Jyoti and Gruha Arogya to monitor public health. Based on the report from the expert committee under Dr. Ravindranath's guidance, necessary actions will be taken. We're making every possible effort to protect the health of the people. I urge everyone to visit the nearest health center immediately for a checkup. I'm going to go straight across now to Sagay Raj for more on that. Sagay, the Chief Minister here, while advising the people, has in fact spoken about the COVID vaccine as a possible reason behind the deaths. It's extremely concerning, given that studies after studies have been done in India. The Indian Council of Medical Research saying that the Indian vaccines that were given during the peak of the pandemic were safe. Dr. Sagay on our shows have been opining on this, that had there been a link with the vaccine, the deaths would have happened almost immediately and not now.
Absolutely, it is a worrisome for the state of Karnataka. Even Karnataka Chief Minister said that they have ordered for a committee study on increasing deaths due to heart attack in Hassan district. And the even more worrisome is the age group. The age group between 20 to 45 is the more number of reports of deaths which has been reported from Hassan district. So they will go ahead and do a study on what are the reasons, how is their lifestyle and their food habits. So even if you notice that the DHO, the district health officer, also claims that they are trying to create awareness program, but how far it has reached out to the people. As we speak now, even today, one more death has been reported due to heart attack, and close to 23 people have died in last 40 days. This clearly shows that this particular trend is increasing in Hassan, and even the people in the district are also heading towards hospitals like Jaideva. A large number of people in hospital in Jaideva in Bengaluru are queued up to do medical tests in connection with these kind of reports, and people are more worried after people dying every single day in the district of Hassan.
Waiting to hear from the BJP and also from the government really on what is to be done as far as the statement on the link with the COVID vaccine is concerned. But he's also in fact spoken about the fact that there is a committee that has been set up. Of course, the report on what is happening in Hassan is going to be submitted in the next 10 days. Sagay?
So if you notice that there is a two committee which has been ordered by Karnataka government. One from the health department, where the health department will specifically study the reports of heart attack which has been reported from Hassan, and that particular committee will be headed by doctors from Jaideva hospital will be heading towards Hassan. And there is one more committee which has been formed. So this is a widespread study which will be studying across the state, and this is on increasing death across the state of late. So it will be a bigger study, a research which will be done across the state. So targeting the BJP, which has targeted the Karnataka government, stating that the government is not doing anything when it comes to these kind of incidents which has been reported, there is no proper awareness program. In counter to BJP, Chief Minister has treated that, stating that there are reports which is emerging saying that after COVID and after COVID vaccination, there are increasing numbers of heart attack cases. So he has directly targeted BJP and the central government, and the BJP has targeted on the same. So politics continue, whereas people have to struggle in the state of Karnataka, where people are heading towards hospitals to do medical checkup and to find out if they have any kind of blocks, and even the doctors are reaching out to the people and trying to create some kind of awareness program. And meanwhile, the political reactions continues in the state.
All right, let's tell you a little more about what's going on in Hassan. 4 deaths, in fact, in one day that have taken place in Hassan district in Karnataka. Let's tell you about the victims here. Lepakshi, age 50, the resident of JP Nagar, collapsed after complaining of fatigue. Professor Mutaya, age 58, lecturer at Government First Grade College, died of a heart attack while having tea. Kumar, age 57, D Group employee at the Chennai Thana, passed away after hospitalization for chest pain. Satyanarayan Rao, age 63, resident of Rangolihalli colony, collapsed after chest discomfort. I'm being now joined by Dr. Naresh Trehan, chairperson, and MD Medanta. The Medicity is the most authoritative voice as far as cardiac health is concerned. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Trehan. I want to begin by asking you about your observations about what you're seeing in the state of Karnataka, in Hassan district, a sudden surge, or is it that because the numbers are startling in the last 40 days or so, has this got the government really compelled to set up a committee to look at the situation? Is there a silent epidemic that we are yet to acknowledge?
You know that we have talked about it for many years, the fact that India has one of the highest incidence of heart disease. If you compare it to the West, say the Caucasian population, our incidence of heart disease in India is about twice that amount. So if it is 5% in the US and Europe, it's about 10% in India. So that's the baseline from which we start. So there are many causes that we have actually investigated. Many studies have been done from around the world, and wherever our populations are there, whether it is Chicago, whether it's London, or whether it's somewhere in Europe, what has happened is that we find that our community, diaspora in these countries, also has a higher heart disease incidence than the population of the surrounding area. So that means that we have a genetic propensity to have a higher incidence of heart disease. That is one. And a lot of it has to do with our lifestyle and our diet. Our lifestyle, as you know, with automation, more and more people are getting to be like couch potatoes. They do not look at their weight, where they are gaining weight, just happily eating whatever they find. And that's been one big issue. That's why we have the highest population of diabetics also in India. So, and if you have a combination of both diabetes and heart disease in the family, then the children will have double or triple the chance of developing heart disease. So that's why we say today, know your genes. If you know that in your family, there's history of heart disease, you also know that in your family, there is history of diabetes, then that person, the children of that family, should be checked before the age of 25 for the risk factors that are associated with heart disease and diabetes. And if we detect it early enough, and today genome sequencing is also completed, so we can actually see the genomic footprint of each individual. In other words, if we know all the facts about the biochemical, the physical, and the genetic makeup of an individual, we can write the horoscope of their health. So if we know in time that these pre-existing things are there already, then we can actually warn the people of what their lifestyle should be, what are the things that they have to be careful about, and the fact that they can mitigate the risk of heart disease and diabetes if they are careful. So that's why we say 25 years, or by 25 years, children of families which have diabetes, heart disease, or both should get their full checkup done.
Okay, Dr. Trehan, I want to ask you. You've spoken about these preventive checkups. So what should be the basic test that one should be doing? And you're saying that if you have a predisposition, you should be doing it from the age of 25. What about others who do not have a predisposition?
Then by the age of 30, the first checkup should be done so that we know what the risk factors a person is carrying. Now, for instance, I'll give you an example. We did a study of 10,000 executives who came for their preventive checkup. And we found that a full 26% of them had high blood pressure, which they didn't even know about. So the fact is that if you know that you have high blood pressure, you know that your lipid profile being cholesterol and all its subfractions, that they are abnormal. If we know that the history of blood sugar is getting to be high by HbA1c that we check, then we can actually warn these people that these are the diseases that we know that they have a higher risk for. So like I said, if your risk of developing heart disease is double of what your next person is, then we can always warn them that they cannot indulge in eating rich food. They must exercise. They must also get preventive checkups in frequencies that we define for each individual. So there are methodologies that we know that we can do all these tests. And now there are even people who we suspect maybe have getting the beginning of heart disease. We can do CT angios, which is a non-invasive test, and actually screen them.
Okay.
So all these things have actually developed so much so that today, if a person actually goes for a checkup, and it's not very expensive, that a lot of preventive work can be done for them, and hopefully we can actually prevent diseases from developing.
Okay.
So that is basically the crux of this whole problem that we are facing today in our country, in our population, anywhere around in the world, that we have a higher propensity. Now, we also must clarify that all heart disease is not blockages of coronary arteries, which are most commonly known as causing heart attacks. You can have abnormal heart muscle. You can have holes in your heart which you don't know about. You can have irregular heartbeats which you don't know about. And you may have an unstable electrical system which you don't know about, because all these things can cause sudden death. And that's why I think it's important that in this current environment which we are existing, where there is not only the risk of overweight, diabetes, heart disease in the family, but there is also a lot of stress.
Yes.
There is environmental stress, there is work stress. You step out of your house and there is noise stress. So we are exposed to a much different environment today than it used to be 20, 30 years ago.
That's why, Dr. Naresh Trehan, people who are ostensibly fit, working out at a gym, look healthy, look fit, are succumbing to heart disease because stress is silent. It's not something that you can see. I mean, if you have cough and cold and if you're down with fever, you can see it. But stress is something mostly that gets missed, isn't it?
So that's exactly what my point is, that when we do a full checkup on an individual, we also do their stress profile. And we can also tell them that according to their profession, how they should manage. Like if you will see, too many people are getting back pains. Too many people are getting neck pains. So that is especially in today's people who are into the IT world and working on computers all day, which most work conditions require today, that they have this problem with the physical structure being put under stress. If that is the case, then you warn them, and then they can actually correct their posture. They can elevate their laptops or iPads or whatever they are using, and that's basically the thing that people should be aware of. That continuous working on computers also causes a lot of headaches, a lot of eye strain, and like I told you, neck pain and back pain. So these are other lifestyle diseases that actually are taking a big toll on our population. And the younger people are more exposed to it because of the irregular working times, also lack of sleep.
Dr. Trehan, I also want to, go back to what has been said very, very recently, just a few moments ago by the Karnataka Chief Minister. And this is the question that everybody has been asking. The link with the COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, this is something that has been ruled out by the Indian Council of Medical Research on the possible link between heart attacks in younger population and the vaccine. Please tell me if I'm wrong. If there were these side effects that were to be seen of heart attacks, would this not be 3 years ago? Will it be seen now?
I'll tell you that we have observed very distinctly that people who got serious bouts of COVID actually had inflammation in their hearts. 20% of them showed their reduction in their pumping of the heart. They showed inflammation signs of the arteries around all across their body. And they are the ones who may have become victims of heart attacks because of the fact that this inflammation left their arteries of the heart damaged.
Okay.
Now, we do not have any documentation, and like you said, ICMR has actually addressed the issue to say that look, there is no real evidence found so far, especially when the ones that were used from India, that were developed in India, that there has been any correlation between the incremental increase in heart attacks in those people. Yes, there were a few reports in the US and in Europe also, which said that the mRNA vaccine, which was the one that was developed in the West, that some people did get cardiomyopathies or irritable hearts from that. Yes, that has been reported, but it's never really documented that it happened in large numbers. So I don't think it's fair to blame vaccines for it, because there is no clear evidence that this has happened.
Okay.
We also know that people who did get vaccinated, and this is something well documented around the country, that the people who did get vaccinated, their degree of severity of their COVID attacks were less, and the people who actually had comorbidities and they were not vaccinated were at the highest risk.
Right.
So facts that were worked out during the pandemic, and now we have a clear-cut idea that the methodology by which Indian vaccines were developed, and that was actually attenuated virus, that is the dead one. That virus does not cause that much inflammation in the body. That mRNA, which was a good mRNA vaccine, was new, not long enough, so may have caused some problems.
Right. So Dr. Trehan, I also want to ask you, basically what you're saying is that COVID has an impact on your heart, has had an impact on your heart, but not the vaccines. That, at least not the vaccines that have been made in India or basically given to our population. That, that is something that needs to be clarified and put out, because it's a charge that we've often seen, being made, that these were the vaccines that essentially are leading to these long COVID impact.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say is there is nothing documented. I mean, as being a doctor, a man of science, we always look for documentation of any events that may have happened. And then you can actually extrapolate whether something has done any harm to your body or not. The very basic fact which everybody may or may not know about COVID was that COVID was initially thought that it only causes lung problems. Then there were autopsies done on victims of COVID in Italy, and those autopsies are from the people who had passed away from it, showed very clearly that the inflammation was caused by the virus in every part of the body,
right,
and especially the arteries. So if you could find the virus in the kidneys and the liver and the brain everywhere in those autopsies, it proved the fact that it is not limited to the lungs. It actually transmits through the vascular system to the rest of the body. And that's why that reaction that people have had, where we have seen documented at 20% of the people who got severe COVID showed some signs of inflammation in their heart. And also some people passed away from that.
Dr. Trehan, I also want to ask you, the case of Shefali, of course, the post-mortem report is awaited, but could there be possible links between, low blood pressure, the fact that she was fasting and taking medications? Of course, we have to wait at the end of the day for the post-mortem report. But is there a possible link between anti-aging medications, glutathione being taken on an empty stomach through IV, or, low blood pressure? Talk to us about where the science stands on that.
So, it's irresponsible to make statements on things that have not been proven. This is speculative. Let the autopsy report come out. We will know some more facts about what happened to her body. Of course, it's a very tragic death and a young person. And we are seeing this happening because there are many, many causative agents that can cause this. So not knowing the facts, I don't think that any person who's responsible, a responsible doctor, should be commenting on it or speculating on it. That's not a responsible thing to do.
No, my question to you was just about taking, medicines on an empty stomach, on that and low blood pressure. That's what I was trying to ask.
Look, any artificial material taken unnecessarily can cause harm. All medicines, all vitamins taken inappropriately can cause harm. So that is why unsupervised administration of these things by people who may have no proof of that the efficacy of something is not a responsible act for any doctor to do or any individual to take.
Right.
So if you're taking your responsibility without the knowledge in your hands, it's up to the individual, but it is not the right thing.
All right.
And that's all, and all the more reason I think that this prescription of certain additives to a human for whatever reason, artificial reason, I think is irresponsible if there is no proof that it works.
That's right. All right.
And
We of course. Yes, doctor. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So all these serums and all these cosmetics which claim so many things, 99% of them don't work.
Right.
So, and billions of dollars have been made on these false promises.
Right. Dr. Naresh Trehan, appreciate your time here. You put the focus on this important issue of heart attacks, the heart health epidemic really in the country. Several questions being raised on what could have happened to those victims in Hassan in Karnataka. Why are just so many Indians succumbing? Dr. Trehan putting the spotlight on why preventive health checkups are just so mandatory, especially when you have a predisposition. Appreciate your time here, Dr. Naresh Trehan.
Okay.
All right, we have more news coming in at this point in time. It's a major thrust to the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Udayagiri, the second warship of the project P-17A Nilgiri class stealth frigates, designed by Warship Design Bureau of Indian Navy, overseen by the warship overseeing team and built by the Mazagaon Dock Limited, Mumbai, was delivered to the Indian Navy on the 1st of July in Mumbai city. It's a watershed moment for the Indian Navy. Then I'm going to go straight across to Pranay Upadhyay for more. Udayagiri is the 100th ship designed, delivered by the Warship Design Bureau. Tell us a little more about how this ship is built with over, Pranay, I understand, 75% indigenous content, equipped with state-of-the-art weapons and sensors.
He pointed out about this achievement, Sneha, that this is the 100th indigenously developed ship delivered by the Navy Warship Design Bureau, which works under the Directorate of Naval Design. And this is a significant feat of India's shipbuilding capability. The Project 75 Alpha, which is a Nilgiri class frigate of the Indian Navy, also known as the Nilgiri class frigate program, is a significant initiative by the Indian Navy to bolster its maritime capabilities. And through the construction of the 7 advanced stealth guided missile frigates, you know that Project 17 was the Shivalik class, and the 17 Alpha is the Nilgiri class frigate program. And it has come with a lot of stealth capabilities. It has 7 advanced guided missile frigate systems, which will be subsequently delivered by the Naval Design Bureau. And these frigates are this will help to modernize the Indian naval capabilities. And as far as the designing part is concerned, as you have already pointed out, this is being developed and designed by the MDL, the Mazagaon Dock Limited, in Mumbai, and 4 frigates will be developed by MDL and the Garden Reach Shipbuilding Engineers, Kolkata-based Defence CSU. It will develop 3 frigates, so it's a 7 frigate program, and definitely this is a major feat for the Indian naval capabilities as far as the stealth capabilities are concerned, as far as the the indigenous shipbuilding capabilities are concerned. It has stealth technology incorporating the various advanced stealth features, including the low radar cross-section and radar-absorbent coating and composite material and flush deck design to minimize the detection. These are the technical capabilities, Sneha, which are indigenously developed by the Indian engineers, the Indian design architects. So definitely the indigenous component of this naval frigate itself is an achievement for India, and as you rightly pointed out, that this is the 100th indigenously ship, delivered by the Naval Design Bureau itself is an achievement for every Indian to feel confident and feel strong.
All right, Pranay, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Pranay Upadhyay getting us those details. The warship built over 75 indigenous content, equipped with state-of-the-art weapons and sensors. Udayagiri truly will be boosting the Indian Navy's combat readiness and capabilities to safeguard our maritime interest in the Indian Ocean region.